What up, it's your boy Roy Jones Jr. I'm hanging out with my man, Andre Ward. We two Hall of Famers will bring y'all a show called The Hall of Game.
A show where we discuss boxing, sports, life, and entertainment from our view.
How much better than that can you get?
Me and Roy don't always agree, but one thing you will get is a Hall of Fame worth the game.
This past Saturday, we spoke leading up to the fight about the Vergil Ortiz, Lubin fight. We talked about all the hardships Lubin has faced, the tough losses and the biggest moments. And you made a comment. You said this could be his third strike if he doesn't rise to in this moment and overcome this challenge, because Lubin, unfortunately, at every big moment, he's come up short. And he's come up short in a big way and been stopped in all three of those moments. And that third stoppage happened this past Saturday against Ortiz at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. And you could see Lubin cautious. And when you come off a knockdown or a bad previous fight, or in his case, a career of tough moments, you're not fully confident all the time if you can take the shot. And I know that sparring, big gloves, 16, 18, 14, whatever ounces you use, gloves and headgear is a lot different than an 8-ounce glove with no headgear. And you can see, in my opinion, that Lubin was not really wanting to get hit early on. And he made a big mistake in the second round. I think he got touched with a shot on top of the head that he felt, and he went back to the ropes and he leaned on the ropes, because his legs weren't right. And a lot of times fighters will do that for support, to hold them up. And it's a sense of stability, because I feel like if I don't have this support from these ropes, I might fall down. And Vergil Ortiz did what Vergil Ortiz does. He kept punching. It's not always pretty, but it's effective, and there's power behind those shots. And he just started landing right hands, and he hit Lubin with a right hand that I think buzzed him, but then he hit him with another overhand right that froze him, and Lubin was essentially out on his feet. And Ortiz maybe landed one or two other shots, and the referee did a great job of giving Lubin some time, but not too much time where he could get hurt.
Yeah, the ref did a great job, man. Shout out to Lubin for being the warrior that he's been, man. But his road to the championship has been very, very difficult, bro. Like we said before, Charlo, the towering Inferno, and now a peaking Vergil Ortiz. Yes. I said that for a reason when I said that. Because when a guy's peaking, he's at his hardest place to beat him at. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this guy gonna get Boots, all Boots wants. Now, we're gonna find out some truths and facts about Boots that I think we already know, but he gonna make Boots have to dig deep in his bag. You feel me? And because Vergil is not a joke, he's peaked right now. He's the best we ever gonna see Vergil Ortiz right now. When you find that, man, it's hard to beat that. You know what I'm saying? And people that don't understand boxing or understand the sport, it's like the whole 6-week training camp is like Haney. You can tell Haney is peaking now. You understand me? Your whole goal is to go build yourself up to a peak. That's why I used to like mess with the Roosters back in the day, because you had to learn how to make them go to a peak. And I knew I was good at it because I knew how to do that with myself. You understand me? So you want to bring something to a peak so that it can perform at its best. And that being said, Vergil is at his peak. It's going to be hard for anybody to beat Vergil right now because he's peaking. You understand me? When you get to that point, that's a hard place to be. But Boots might be peaking right now too, because Boots ain't been looking bad. Boots fought a guy that, like I said, people didn't give him a lot of credit for, because in this country, we don't know him that well. But the guy he fought, that guy was pretty good. A lot of people was avoiding that guy. And Boots took him to school like it was nothing. So we're going to find out what's what for our friend, man, Lubin. I feel really bad for Lubin because of how hard of a road he had to go down to try to become champion. I feel like they should have gave him something a little bit easier to get him back in the game first, and then let him go try to fight somebody like a Vergil Ortiz. Every time I feel like I feel like he got rushed in to a almost a unwinnable situation. You understand me? And you don't want to take a guy chances before the fight starts, but the towering Inferno, that's an unwinnable situation. You understand me? Charlo was early, might have been unwinnable too at that point in his career. This fight with Vergil Ortiz, that was almost unwinnable because Vergil is speaking right now. You took a year off. We ain't seen you in a year. How can you come off of a year layoff, off of a bad knockout stoppage, and then beat this dude who peaking right now? Just didn't make sense to me, man. Didn't make sense to me.
I think that all three of those fights, he could have won. I think he had just as much of a chance as Charlo to win that fight if he fought the right fight. Now, that's tough to say with that fight because he got caught so early and, the fight was over. So it's hard to say what he would have did and should have did. But maybe that fight notwithstanding, I think those other two, even Sebastian Fondor, I think the problem sometimes with Lubin is that he has a lot of tools, but he's not always grabbing the right tool in the right moment. Like, we know he's tough. He's checked that box. But sometimes, bro, you being tough in the wrong spot and in the wrong moment. We know you can bang, but sometimes you're banging, you're going toe-to-toe at the wrong time when he has the advantage and you don't, and you're getting the worst of it. You're staying in there, but that's not what you should be doing. And then sometimes maybe you boxing when you should be slipping mid-range and inside. So I think he has had a tough road, but when you lose the first big moment against Charlo, now you playing catch up. So now he did take fights in between before he got to Sebastian Fondor. That's the rebuild. But you got promoters saying, well, if you want that kind of money, you're going to have to fight this kind of guy. And that's where the struggle comes in at. Not only are you trying to get some get back and prove to yourself and prove to the world that I can fight at this level, but you're not going to get a certain bag unless you fight at that level. And it's the same thing with Vergil Ortiz. Lubin has had fights. He's had tune-ups. He's had C-level, B- guys to stay sharp. But them C-, B- guys going to bring C-, B- bag. Lubin wants an A-level bag, so he's got to fight an A-level fighter. And unfortunately, he came up short again on Saturday.
I hear you, but the towering inferno is not the bag I want to go after. I'm sorry. I'll go after that bag.
Catch up.
Hey, I understand, but I'll go after that bag when I have to go after that bag. I would have much rather fought. I'm saying I would have much rather fought Zoo at that time than the towering inferno. Zoo was more reachable. Zoo was more your height. Zoo was a lot more. I mean, he's a tough fight too. Don't get it wrong, but I would have much rather have taken Zoo instead of the towering inferno at that point. You understand me? So there are other guys I feel like we could have fought other than the ones he fought at the time he fought them. I definitely wouldn't have taken a peaking Vergil Ortiz right now over somebody like, I would have even said to give me Jamil Charlo. You understand me? Somebody, a rematch. Because he coming off a loss, you know what I'm saying? So I would have preferred something like that, but not a peaking Vergil Ortiz. That's the wrong fight for me, in my honest opinion. That's the wrong fight at the wrong time. And I want to ask you, so some of the stuff you're talking about, like now, it makes sense with knowing when to bang, knowing when not to bang. But didn't Vergil tell you kind of when you should do that kind of stuff and when you should not? Wouldn't Vergil kind of give you reminders or say, hey, we don't need to bang with this guy, or hey, we need to go and push him backwards? Didn't Vergil give you those kind of instructions sometime?
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
So saying that, that a lot of what you said, what I heard, would sound like it's a trainer's issue, because it seems like the trainer should be telling him, hey, do this or don't do that. You understand what I'm coming? If you trust your trainer. Now, if you don't trust your trainer, of course, you're not going to listen. But people like you, me, we listen to people that we hire because those people usually know how we are better than we know ourselves, or they know what's best for us, I should say. So we can't listen to what we want to do sometimes. We got to listen to the game plan, because right now, what we want to do, it ain't time for that. You understand me? And we don't know if that's the coaching or is it him, because some guys will listen, some guys won't listen. So I think that what we don't want to overlook is the fact that Lubin fought all three of his fights at 154. And he fought three hell of opponents at 154 trying to become a world champion. He gave it his all. He never ducked and dodged nothing or nobody. By his third time, it looks like boxing has taken a little bit of a toll on him, right? But the difference in him and Haney is that Haney's weight train is basically what we're saying, what he's telling us now, has been his kryptonite. Not the fact that he's, yes, that's what it is. So it's a difference when there's a weight drain and when it's just, you've been through enough of them. You understand me? Haney ain't been through enough of them, man. He's saying basically it was just a weight drain that affected his punch resistance. Lubin, on the other hand, has been the same weight the whole time, just a lot of hard fights he's been through. You understand me? So make sure you guys understand that there is a difference there. One guy's moved up in weight because the weight train was getting him. The other guy was already at that, and the other guy's a little bit older than Haney. So he's just he done been through it, and he been through a lot. So we hoping that he comes through it okay, and that he finds a better way to live. But he been through a lot, and it was all at the same weight class. Haney moved up.
Point.
That's a little bit of different. I want y'all to understand that. You feel me? Because some people look at that and say, well, wait a minute. Y'all saying he this and he this. No. It's a little bit different. One guy been at that weight. One guy was weight training himself. So it's a little bit different. That's all I want to make it. I want to say that earlier, but I want to clear that up before we go, because what we do here, Andre, I love a lot. And I seen Vergil this weekend. His fighter beat up my fighter this weekend. And what we do is he was like, he's very happy with what we're doing here. And we try to be informative to people about boxing, things that they don't understand and don't get. And that was one of the things I feel like we need to make sure we clean that up, because this guy is different to me in weight drain and just having a whole lot of hard fights. You understand me? So I want to make sure we cleared that up.
Yeah, Lubin has had, I think that was his third coach as a professional last night, K. Karoma. Previously was with Kevin Cunningham, and I don't know who his original coach was as a professional. But it's not just as easy as giving instructions. You know this, Roy. It's about the fundamentals. Like what have you built when you're not in front of the lights? Do you listen have you been listening throughout the years? Because we think because it's a big moment and my coach is giving me big instructions that sound good, that I should just take it and run with it. But if you don't take that and run with it on a day-to-day basis, if you don't have a good base, a good foundation with how you train, the things you work on, and your relationship with your coach, you're not going to do it in that big moment. You're going to trust yourselves over the eyes that you got outside the ring. So, and I don't know enough about Lubin to say what it was in terms of the coaching situation. But if you don't have good fundamentals, not X and O, jab, right hand, I'm saying fundamentals as an athlete. If you don't work on certain things, listen to your coach. I got you, coach. Do it, execute it. If that's not a rhythm for you, if that's not something you do or haven't done throughout the course of your career, you will not do it in the big moments. It sounds good. You shoulda, you would. It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
And that's all I'm saying. I'm thinking that he didn't have that continuity with a coach.
Yeah.
You
Well, it's
understand?
hard, especially with the last coach, because he just started working with him.
It's hard with all of them, probably, but I'm just saying, until you develop that Bonnie and Clyde type thing with your coach, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult.
Where do you think Lubin goes from here? I know that, Roy, you've had a long career, and we talk about it all the time, that you got a different type of stubbornness about you. But not everybody got that kind of stubbornness about them. Right. What would you recommend Lubin do after Saturday night's performance?
I don't really want to see him fight no more, because I don't feel like it's good for his body anymore. I don't like to see a guy slumped over on the ropes, against the ropes like that. So I really rather see him stop and maybe go back to giving what he's learned in his sport back to somebody else now, because I don't want to see him get injured. You understand me? So he's learned a lot. He was an awesome boxer in his day, has a lot of talent, can do a lot of things.
Great amateur too.
And I think he can give that to some younger kids coming up now. And also he'll be able to teach them how to avoid the things that may have caused him the setbacks. You understand me? How to not go too fast, maybe, how to try to build continuity with a coach so that you can proceed and go further, and you can trust this guy. If you can't see and this guy tell you, hey, just keep the right hand up, make sure you keep, every time he finish, throw the left hook, you trust him enough to do that, then, you understand me? So things like that we're talking about now, these are things that Lubin's going to be able to take and go give to another younger fighter coming up.
I agree. It's tough to lose on that note. It's tough. It's tough. And some people say, oh, you don't know. I do know. I do know, because I've lost, as an amateur. I haven't lost as a pro, but you don't have to lose to. I've had bad days. I've had bad performances, and I've seen, the look on my team's face. I've seen how the media shifted. Oh, you got dropped. Oh, this happened. You lost this fight. How'd you win? I've dealt with things that is not the same as Lubin, but I've had dark days in this sport, and you feel for Lubin. I've known Lubin for a long time, not really personally, but just from a distance. But I think one of the smartest things he can do is have an honest conversation with himself. And I just don't think the punch resistance is there at this point. The first big shot that he got hit with Saturday night, you could see his body kind of like freeze up and just not respond well. Now, if he took that shot and came back and dished out just as much or more than he got, then you say, okay, we're having a different conversation right now. I care for Lubin, man, and respectfully, man, I think that to your point, he can have an impact somewhere else. He's from the Orlando area, and he's also got ties in the game. I think he can have an impact a different type of way, and he can share the things he did great, the things that worked, but also, you know, the things that didn't work. He can share those experiences with the next generation, amateurs and pros, and still be just relevant in the game, as best he can. So, I wish him well. Brother, you got my respect. This is a very, very difficult game. I know we act like this is, a scripted event, like, just do it. It's not easy, bro. Anything can happen. Most of the time, that thing does happen. And I appreciate you, Lubin, for not giving up when you could have at certain points in your career, not throwing in the towel and still believing in yourself. Because I looked at the buildup before the fight, and he still had the confidence. He still had that swag about him, as if he was a champion, as if he had not taken them losses. So I appreciate you, bro, for maintaining that and fighting to keep that throughout the course of your career, bro. I think your better days are in another place. You can still be a part of the sport, but personally, I don't want to see Lubin fight anymore.
What's up? This is Barack the Boxing Bully here. We got some heat coming your way. Fights you don't want to miss. Jump in on all the action with our partners, DraftKings.
Devin Haney fighting this hard-hitting guy that some people are afraid of in Brian Norman. Why is he so confident?
He's been at the top level fighting the top guys, so you figure this guy, Brian Norman, he looks scary though. He looks scary, he's muscular, he's fast, he got one punch knockout power, but who has he beaten?
That's a good point, but he did say this. People worry about my power all the time, how hard I hit, but I have to have some level of skill in order to land those shots.
I'm telling you what Haney is thinking.
All right, well, people are saying that this is Haney's most dangerous fight, and on the other side, some people saying he never fought anybody, Devin Haney's gonna outbox him, but y'all gonna get a chance to see it on November 22nd. You definitely do not wanna miss these explosive fights. So check out all that DraftKings has to offer, but remember, use the promo code ATS Fights. The crown is yours.
DraftKings has something for every sports fan in the world. Have some fun and check out all that our partners DraftKings have to offer, either on the app or the website. Get in on all the
If
action.
you're moving too slow, move a little faster. Download the DraftKings app right now, but make sure new customers use the promo code ATS Fights. Level up your fight night experience.
Was another fighter in the arena, in the Dickies arena that night, and it was Jaron Boots Ennis. He was ringside, and he kept hitting his hand like this, saying that it's time. It's time. He got in the ring while Vergil Ortiz was doing his post-fight interview, and they went back and forth. And I don't know, normally when you see something like that, you walk away from the TV or wherever you're watching the fight, and you have a lot of confidence that that's going to be the next fight. Based on some of the things that were said, they're arguing about who started it and whose father did what. And then I heard Boots, basically hypothetically say to Eddie Hearn, where's the paperwork? In other words, where's the contract? Let's sign the contract. So I don't know if that's a hypothetical and he's just saying that, or the contract really hasn't been signed. But Roy, I don't know if that fight is going to be next, because after the fight, I hear you. And I see you. But I'm listening to Vergil Ortiz post-fight press conference. He called out Errol and said it was a dream fight. He said, I don't care what none of y'all say, I want to fight him. And he also called out Terrence Crawford and mentioned that he want to fight Terrence Crawford. Roy, are we getting this fight with Jaron Boots in his next?
Man, let me just say it like this. I don't see no way in the world that you go off and you actually told Boots to come up here. You called Boots up there. You understand?
Yeah.
So all that you talk about in that post-fight press conference, don't nobody want to hear that. You told the nation when they could see it. Because, see, a lot of people couldn't see the post-fight press conference. But people saw the interview right after the fight. You told us that the man already told you, hey, it's time. You told us that's what was next. If you avoid that and don't do that, you're going to lose a lot of respect from a lot of people. And I might be one of them. Because you acted like
Vergil Ortiz.
You better believe it. You act like you was up for the challenge. Everybody knows that like Boots said, it's time for him. Everybody wants to see Boots against a real opponent. Vergil, you're peaked right now. You're the best option to make us to let us figure out all the answers that we want to know about Boots English. And you're gonna go say about Errol Spence and somebody else? We don't want to hear that. I definitely don't want to hear that. You told us on national TV after the fight that you wanted to do exactly what that man said. That man told you, well, that's what I want to see. I don't want to see you do nothing else right now. You can come back and go to Earl later. You can come back and go to Crawford later if Crawford chooses to do that. But what I want to see right now is the two best dream middleweights on the horizon fight. It's two undefeated guys who are equal. Don't run from that smoke, bruh. Don't run from that smoke. Let's make that happen.
Well, look, maybe the Crawford conversation and the Spence conversation, maybe just negotiate. Maybe just trying to send a message that I got some options. So don't come saying you want the lion's share of this money when we really start negotiating. Maybe that's what it was.
I hope that's what
maybe
it was.
That's a tactic.
I hope that is.
Yeah.
But see, my other problem is when Turk get involved, you don't need all that.
You don't need all that.
Turk bring a pocketbook that you ain't got to ask all that. He gonna make sure you get your share and he get his share. So we don't need all that. That's the thing Turk has been able to do in this game is fix that part. Yeah. So that part, you can't do that no more. That's out the window as well. Not doing all this
back and forth about no money. Here's the number.
You can't do that no more.
Here's the number.
He did what I love to say. He eliminated all excuses. Yes. Either you want the fight or you don't. You understand me? So don't think you're going to go now and say, oh, well, no. Turk bring the purse, ain't no way to say no. You just can't say no. It used to be just say no. When Turk came, it said now and say you can't say no.
Yeah. He's proven that.
Exactly.
He's proven that. Man, I saw Errol Spence at the fight on Saturday. Dallas native, Fort Worth is right there next to Dallas. And man, it made me feel good because, Errol has been to himself, rebuilding, recovering, spending time with his family, all the things that you would expect, a man like that to do. Errol has been very, very open about being a family man. His kids come to camp. He talks about his kids all the time. And it was good to see him looking good, shining, just, smiling and being around the fight game. I miss Errol Spence around the fight game. And it looked like to me that the fans missed Errol Spence. And I think he deserves that because people want to compare the UFC to boxing. And it's always a conversation about what's better, just all the different stuff. What sport is more popular? But one thing you cannot take from the fans of the UFC, that win, lose, or draw, you will be respected. We're going to honor you and we're going to show you love. We don't do that in boxing. You lose one time. I told you he wasn't nothing. I told you he ain't never fought nobody. And as soon as he fought that guy, that was going to happen. And we got to change that because Errol Spence is a guy that has always fought the best competition. He's always looked for the best challenges. He was a guy that said and coined the phrase, I don't do tune-ups. I respect it. I believe in tune-ups. Give me my gimme fight and then I'll go fight him. That ain't Errol Spence. Errol Spence has had detached retinas, horrific car accident that almost took his life. And he comes right back and fights a number one contender, a top contender, or another champion. So for me, it was great seeing him in the element again, because for athletes and fighters, when you really believe that you're going to beat a guy, like he believed he was going to beat Terrence, and it ends the way that it ends, that's going to shake you up. You gotta answer a lot of questions to yourself, not media, not fans, not even your family, to yourself. What happened? How did this happen? I didn't see this coming. And sometimes, Roy, you got to get away to rebuild internally. You got to make the decision. Do I even like the sport? Like I said earlier, do I even want to be around these people? Is this something I still want to do? And I've seen Errol in the gym and I saw him amongst the people Saturday, man. And it just made me feel good, bro, for him to get that love that he was supposed to get and to see Errol Spence back around the fight game.
And he deserved all the love that he got because he truly put Dallas back on the map in boxing. You understand me? He put Dallas back on the map. So he deserved everything he got. You know, my daughter cried when he lost because she was such a fan of him, and knowing what he had done for Dallas, she was deeply hurt when he lost that fight. So it's like a lot of people do really love Errol Spence because he's a downright, down-to-earth, very good guy. You know, and I mean, I'm supposed to go work with him some tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go on to Dallas tomorrow to work with him a little bit, and I'll see where he at, see where we can help him get back to, because I do want to see him get back on that horse and ride again. Those fans at that fight the weekend, they want to see him get back on that horse and ride again. Yes. So if anything we can do to help him out, I'm going to go see what I can do to help get him back on the horse. And like I said, I don't have to be his trainer. I just want to help him get going and see what he can do. If he likes it, cool, just get back up. Sometimes we all go through these things, but the main thing is, can you get up from it? You're not judged by how you go down, it's how you get up. So all of us want to see him get up. And if he just had one more fight just for the fun of it, just say, okay, I'm going to go out on my shield, I'm going to go out right, I'm cool with that too. But I am going to definitely go, I'm going to go help him out tomorrow, start working with him. I'm going to try to give him a couple of days of work, see where he at, and help him try to make a good, smart decision. And if he got it, he going to go with it. I'm sure he wouldn't come to that arena if he wasn't thinking about it. So he was lit up in that arena. He loved that fan support. You could tell he was in his elements, and that made me happier than anything because he was glowing in that element. That means he still got it, and he wants to be in the element again. And Ortiz knows that too.
That's why he said his name. and that shows you the impact that Errol had throughout the game. That shows you the stamp that he's put on the game. And the star power that he's had. He's been away from the game for well over a year and a half, I think it is. And a fighter who is peaking, a fighter who is on the verge of fighting the biggest fight of his career, and I'm talking about Vergil Ortiz. He's thinking about Errol Spence.
Says something he always in the building. Says something he always wanted to do. Always wanted to fight Errol because
but I'm saying he mentioned that man because of the impact that Errol has had. Exactly. So, man, salute to the brother Errol Spence. Man, we pulling for you. I don't care if you ever fight again. I know you winning in life. You have a beautiful family. I know he got some land out there in Dallas and he's just enjoying himself. Man, y'all brothers that got land, y'all ain't saying y'all happy all the time, but man, y'all move a little bit different. It's almost like I can work in the madness, but I got my safe haven. I got my spot that I can go back to.
So here's the thing, Trey. It's like, even with Earl, when you first come off of a loss and you come back out, like you said, the thing we need to get is that in the UFC, they love their guys regardless. In boxing, some love, but some hate on you. You understand me? I knew he wouldn't. I know he wouldn't. And no matter what the reason may be, they don't look at all that. They just was waiting to hate on you anyway. So to come out and see that you still have that kind of love makes you really happy and makes you feel proud for what you stood for and what you did. But at the same time, if you come out and you realize you don't have that love, when you get back to your land and these chickens and these dogs and these cows and these horses and these goats see you,
they gonna love you.
You ain't never lost to them. They still love you like you number one. You understand me? Yeah. And you gonna always be number one to them. You understand me? So it's like having that helps you keep a balance in life and makes you look at things from the way God would see things. Hey, son, you went out and did what I gave you the talent to go out and do. I'm very happy with that. You ain't supposed to win them all. You ain't God, but you did what you're supposed to do. I'm cool with that. So let's go. You all good. That's how those animals in that farm make you feel. You understand me? So that's why people with that kind of stuff seem to be able to get over it quicker, because we have a peace and a form of tranquility that we get from that farm. You understand me? Those animals, they give you a different kind of love. You know, they give you an everlasting love, a forgiving love. You understand me? They don't care what happened. They just want you back.
Well, man, check this out. I got a ranch 2 hours from where I live, my primary house. So I'm finna go up to my ranch today so I can get some of that love. I want to feel some of that love today, bro. Now, I love it, man. And I think it needs to be said, and we will continue to do that, because it's a lot of talking heads out here, and we're one of them, but we want to be talking about the right stuff.
Yes.
And the weight conversation and all the different things. Me and you don't always agree. A lot of times we do agree, but at the end of the agreeing or disagreeing, we want people to be more knowledgeable, to walk away and say, okay, I get that now. So when you're in the comment section, you know what you're talking about. When you're at the job, you know what you're talking about. When you're talking to your buddy, you know what you're talking about, because we can't have you out here sounding like you know what you're talking about, but you really don't.
If we didn't disagree, we wouldn't have a successful show.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Hey, thank you, Drake. Good to see you too, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right.